кликер, я, с вашего позволения.
While we are looking for the clicker, I will start with your permission. Hello, I'm very happy to see you all.
Согласились потратить свой выходной на то, чтобы прийти.
I'm delighted that you decided to spend your day off in our company.
То, что мы делаем.
Very flattered indeed. So I will tell you what we do and where we're going. While I was listening to Alexander, the previous speaker, I couldn't help noticing that in fact, although Alexander works in a production company that does its own oil and gas technologies, and I am a representative of an IT company which produced this products, but our thinking is very much alike. We use the same terminology, and I kind of caught myself thinking that I might as well answer the questions that were directed to Alexander very well, indeed, because I do believe that his company will become a technological leader. Alexander had a slide that explained what technological leadership is in his understanding, and I understand how our products can help him in reaching this goal. So I will tell you about two popular subjects. One of them is AI, and the other is PAC. So it's the software and kind of the mix of software and hardware. So who are we? My name is Peter. I'm Director of Technological Innovations at the Skala company. We are a producer, a vendor, okay? So what do? We do PAC, right? PAC. We do PAC, and we've started doing it 10 years ago. Alexander gave you the example of 2014, if I'm not mistaken, 8% of import substituted products. So this is when we started our job. We had import substitution as a goal. I don't know how much you like this term, but never mind the terminology. Bottom line is that we started working with the domestic products on the market, software solutions, PAC solutions, and we started working with the Russian leaders of technology. So when I see pictures like that, the one that you see behind me on the slide, I try to understand whether this nice picture is generated by whom? Kandinsky, ChatGPT, or try to guess. Who's the author of that nice picture? Okay. Well, these are our machines, if you will. We call our PAC machines, so that I will refer to this PAC as machines, right? So this is one of our machines at our clients that uses our products. Okay, it started in a sandbox and now it's a full production. All right, no, so switching to AI, a lot of our customers use different machines. We have different directions. We have dynamic infrastructure, database machines, large data storage, and a lot of our clients use several of our products for solving one, let's say, or several, let's say, of their tasks. So the clients get the data and they come to us with the question, do you have anything for AI? Because they say we start thinking about using some AI functions in our daily job. And since all of our machines consist of two modules, we thought of adding on an additional layer, an additional module, which would allow to implement AI components.
такие решения есть. Есть там
Given that there are solutions like that abroad, Huawei has a PAC like that, and not only that company, there are some smaller producers, manufacturers in China, but nevertheless there are companies which produce graphic
комплексов на них. Вообще тема с программно-аппаратными комплексами, она очень такая философская.
graphic equipment. The PAC topic is quite philosophical and very bulky. We can talk about why PAC became popular,
На самом деле принципы и
both abroad and in Russia. I think that
там задачи, которые решают программно-аппаратные
the principles and the goals of the PAC are slightly different abroad and here, but in any event, we had a good example in front of our eyes that this is indeed doable, and we decided to do it as well. We decided to make a PAC, or a machine, as we call them, that would implement AI function.
рядом проблем.
So initially we had to deal with some problems right away, with a set of problems. We wanted to make sure that such a PAC is needed. Okay, there is a cloud, right? So you can rent space in the cloud and use it for your purposes, including AI. Oh well, not quite. If we talk about use of AI in an enterprise, in a corporate environment, which might have specific requirements, then the cybersec people in such corporations do not like the clouds. They don't want the data that the company owns to be uploaded up there. McKinsey, for example, conducted a study. You know McKinsey, right? It's a consulting company. So McKinsey conducted a study according to which by 2030, 35-40% of all computing equipment will be on premises, right? So that is to say, not in the cloud, but on premises of corporations, companies, entities, which convinced us that we are going in the right direction and we should make an AI machine. And since we are making products for systems with high load, with corporations, with lots of requirements to productivity, fail safety, and so on and so forth. So we started to look at the role and place of such machines and which goals they will be deciding, right? I mean, if we talk about database, it's quite understandable and simple, right? There are some professionals who do wonderful database management system, and we understand how to add on a pack to bring it more efficiency, to give it more efficiency. Talking about AI, it's quite more complex. There's not one single application which could do that. Moreover, for a corporate environment, AI is not a personal system that answers your questions, and it's not some data model, right? It's something else entirely. Well, Alexander was right when he said that you have to build your corporate infrastructure according to specific methodologies and implementation methodologies. And by the same token, introduction of AI changes your approaches towards architecture of such systems. And by the same token, your approaches towards cybersecurity. So if we now look at one of such corporate infrastructure that Alexander mentioned, we will have the following. Let's say there is a cross-industry corporate structure for AI. Okay. Everything that is below the red rectangle and inside it is representing what is being implemented in Russia right now. I mean, there are some exceptions, but mostly it's there. These are, by and large, some ad hoc solutions. But while listening to Alexander, I thought that the technological leaders are trying to go higher and higher and higher. They have to expand to other functional layers, and our goal is to assist them in that. Our goal is to look at how we can make business-critical and mission-critical systems which would comply with IT and cybersec requirements. So we decided to go to dig deeper in this direction and to analyze how the systems are put together, both in Russia and abroad. And to our surprise, we found out that there is no information that would tell us this. Maybe it's some kind of, I don't know, some kind of conspiracy by the vendors and producers. Maybe they just tell about their own piece, but don't tell about everything else. So we don't know anything about the life cycle on which AI should be introduced into the corporate system. There is absolutely zero information about that. Whereas we wanted very much to understand what's going on, so that when we produce, when we make our own PAC, we wouldn't make them in vacuum, but rather with an application in mind. We don't want to make a product that is not needed for everybody or by anybody. All right. So, okay. So if you can't follow leads, right, as the saying goes, so together with the consultants and with our partners, we decided to go ahead together. We understand that we won't be able to do this by ourselves. Actually, we like cooperation a lot. And in this specific case, we went into a partnership with a consulting company and started to develop the life cycle for AI introduction into corporate system. I don't think you can see really well what's on the slide, but on the other hand, I don't have a great desire to tell you about all life cycle. I will just give you the bullet points. Okay, so there are 7 phases of introduction of AI to corporate system, and we analyzed which actions have to be performed by IT infrastructure and cybersecurity department in order to support these 7 iterations. Each iteration was subject to a more detailed analysis. The previous slide was just an example. Let's say this iteration or this phase was split into 6 tasks, each of which is split further. There are 26 sub-tasks, and there are different people with different roles that participate in this, which are using over 70 different tools in order to implement these tasks and sub-tasks. So once we did that, we had a question: what kind of support do all of these people need from, as I mentioned before, IT infrastructure and cybersecurity department? Because the cybersecurity is very important here. Our 10-year experience tells us that we have to think about how we're going to protect our systems and our products. We have to start thinking about that from day one. All right, when we're designing or developing anything, we cannot simply give the customer our products, which then the customer will customize in terms of cybersecurity. This is a dead end. So this is why, while thinking about designing and developing our products, we weren't thinking about the cybersecurity aspect on the design phase. Okay, so we can say that our products are secure by design, and of course the cybersecurity features do influence productivity, but we try to make everything so that this effect would not be very big, so that the equipment would still be fail-safe and so on and so forth. So, as I was telling, once we started digging into the cybersec, it turned out that on top of some standard means and features that we implement in our machines for IT use, there are also two directions, two areas of application. One of them is for AI, and there are also specialized issues, specialized questions which have to be resolved in order to provide this cybersecurity. Not so much cybersecurity, but TRISM, so to speak, right? If we quote Gartner, right? Just by way of example. So you have to check the origin of data, right? Whether the data is genuine, right? You have to get rid of the bias. You have to test on ethic principles and standards. You have to assess stability, and so on and so forth. So there should be a red button that a person, or if we talk about AI, we will say the operator. Okay, so the operator have to press if something is going wrong. Once again, we are making a product that will introduce AI piece into the corporate system. It's not just your personal assistant. It's a big part of the system. So something may go wrong any moment, and that will affect the work of a big enterprise. All right, so as a result, we've got a model that looks like this. This is a pre-launch, in fact, so we are letting you in on this. This is the framework on the life cycle of implementation of AI into a corporate system. I think during the next event, we will address this in more detail. And we wanted to actually release several publications about this. So we don't want to hide this know-how that we've come up to. We're ready to share this model with the whole wide world in order to get your recommendations, criticism, and hopefully together we will be able to bring this model to scratch. Okay, to a level. Once we've done this model, we got better understanding of what it is needed in order to make a good PAC AI machine, right, on the customer side. So pre-train probably is not needed right there. So the customer can do the pre-train in the cloud environment, but fine-tuning, yes, this will be in demand in the local corporate environment. And to this end, we need to manufacture our machines. So we did that. We made the machine. You can get the details on our site. And since there was no single model or app that could test it, we tested it using a lot of different apps with our partners, including MTS and other companies. So right now we are creating a testing ground within our own premises, and we will invite developers to this testing lab, developers of industrial systems that work with AI. This will be a very good opportunity for them to check their own, to check their products under pressure. And on the other hand, this will give us an opportunity to discover bottlenecks and the ways to fine-tune our machine, to make it faster, better, more efficient.
В результате получилась такая машина. У нас на сайте.
So as a result, we got a machine that looks like this. As I already mentioned, if you are interested in the details, please refer to our sites. We were thinking about what it will consist of, where the data will be stored. We are working with the hardware producer very closely. So we will have the platform which supports 8 graphic accelerators in the nearest future. And I also wanted to mention the following. All of the applications operate by graphic cards of specific provider. We allow usage of alternatively produced graphic cards. It's not without problems, but we managed to do though. So when you transfer something from Kudo to Muso, and Muso uses Chinese product, it takes up to 1 day. That's what they told us. Unfortunately, life, of course, is less predictable than any model. There were certain challenges, but we learned how to overcome them. Not only we learned how to overcome the challenges, but we, at the moment, also helped the software producers that are testing their stuff on our machine to migrate, that is to say, to adapt their soft on different types of hardware. Okay, if we talk about graphic accelerators, right? Graphic accelerators with low sanction risks. This machine is not something that is cast in stone. It's developing all the time. We are making lots of experiments. We can't tell you about all of them, but some of AI solutions need a vector database. So, do we have to make a separate vector DB? And if yes, then which one? Or we can take it up, from virtual management or in a container. So we looked at different vendors that already have that. Studied different applications. So that is to say, we continue to dig in this direction. We continue to study and assess different technologies and to make our products better and better and better. Okay, by drawing conclusion, I'd like to say a few words. Once again, I am very much with the previous speaker. I think that AI will allow us to make a huge step forward and in terms of technological leadership, but introduction of such solution in corporate information systems is not without problems and peculiarities, but everything is within reach, and our experience tells us that this is the path that could be traveled. We're ready to share our know-how, share our experience with anybody who's interested. Thank you very much. And also thank the organizers for providing me the opportunity to present my stuff. Thank you for your patience. I'm ready to answer your questions. I'll give a small disclaimer first, though. I'm not an AI specialist. Okay, so if you start asking me about AI fine-tuning, inference, and so on, I will start giving you hallucinations. I will glitch. Ruslan Kazansky, 400 gigabytes network interface. I saw there. How are you going to build the IT fabric on 400 gigabytes? The uplinks should have 800. Is this something that you plan to do? And that's my first question. And yes, the second question is about the Chinese graphic accelerators. Are they cheaper or more expensive? And what about their producer? It's the first time that I hear about that. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. I'll probably won't let you in on a big secret when I say that we use as an interconnect. We use Bifrcom equipment as interconnect. Right now it's 100 gigabytes, but we already have 400 gigabyte connectors, right? It's not 800 yet, mind it, but it is a step forward. But it's not in TORP, right? Not yet, no, because we also look in the Biffercom direction. Right, you are right. We're talking very closely, and they have some solutions that are useful. When we started our conversation, it turned out that nobody asked them about this. We also do. Okay, well, we didn't know that. Sorry. I think we were the first one to start this conversation with the company. In any event, if we talk about interconnect, so we talk about Biffercom. Regarding the Chinese graphic accelerators, they're not very much cheaper. They are a bit cheaper than NVIDIA. I will not tell you that it's easy to buy them. The difficulty is still there because for Chinese producers, we are something that they don't understand. And on the other hand, you cannot just go into a store and buy it. You can buy a graphic accelerator if you want to run a video game on it, but not for this. 3 or 30,000 graphic accelerator card. It's less productive than NVIDIA, but our colleagues keep working.
Свои продукты, и судя по их тестам, мы еще пока не тестировали, следующие карты.
They're improving their products, and according to the latest benchmarks, they are doing better. The performance is now almost on par with NVIDIA. I don't know for sure, but indeed, on the previous cards, Llama was working, but one wouldn't say it was flying. And it supports up to 8 cards, right? Yeah. Has anybody implemented Chinese cards in Russia? Or are they just about tests? So for now, it's about tests. It's not only us doing Chinese graphics cards. I know there are some other companies as well, but so far it has yet got to industry-wide use. So you need somebody who will risk all the more. So that, as I said, you have to adapt software for these cards. And how many nodes can you include in a single network, in a single cluster in Skala-R? What if you, how many of them have you included? Did you have more than 48? No. So 48 of large computers with 8 cards is enough for most problems. Yes, we're hoping it'll be enough. As I said, an 8-card systems were tested. So it's not yet part of the price list. No, it's not yet part of the price list. So the 8-card system is the state of the art. Thank you.
Добрый день.
Hello. Unfortunately, I was late for the start of the presentation, but still have questions. Thank you for your presentation, firstly. Which models were you using and at which performance? That's the first question. And second, you said you use NVIDIA cards. Did you have experience using AMD cards and their similar technology? AMD Firestream, I mean, they have their own libraries. So perhaps they will offer some performance growth, for instance, with chips with onboard memory. Yeah, we're looking at AMD products, haven't yet tested, and so we don't yet have plans to use them in this machine with AI. But if it doesn't make it, if it's no problem for the customer, I mean, what means? We're not doing it just on a whim. There's a machine, and then you want to do something from MTS and M1 from somebody else. If this application is written so that it supports CUDO and you welcome NVIDIA, you won't be able to replace it by a Chinese graphics card. Same thing about AMD. So far, we have chosen these two extremities for ourselves, either NVIDIA or a lower sanction risk Chinese card. and we'll work on that. If somebody sees reason to employ AMD, come to us and we'll see if we can do that. As to the models, I won't be able to give you a number. Well, we can exchange contact details and I'll get you in touch with the product owner. He'll be coming back on Monday from business trip. Just from my understanding, on the chip, the bus width is an order of magnitude wider than in NVIDIA cards. Yes, indeed, the AMD theme is quite interesting, quite exciting, not only in terms of the graphics card, but also in terms of CPUs. We're keeping a close eye on this area of development. We're talking with the vendors of Russian hardware platforms. They exercise a very cautious approach, saying everybody's asked for Intel. But we already see areas where the focus on the choice of AMD can give a certain boost in performance. Thank you. Well, you can install, but you need a library that will be able to work with it, and then there would be a question of whether it will run on the Russian operating system. Such a big heap of questions. Colleagues, any more questions? Unless there are any more questions, thank you, Piotr, for a great systems presentation. Thank you very much.